Hey all, here at OS Reviews. Today we are taking a closer look at the CammPro body camera. This is also known as the M831, a wearable camera that is ultra rugged. It can be dropped, it can absorb shock, it also is going to be waterproof to a certain extent, so you can safely record in any weather condition. It's going to be good for outdoor enthusiasts. It can also be left in one spot, almost like a security camera, and begin recording only when motion is detected. But of course, if you're wearing it, you can just trigger that action yourself. There is 64 gigs of built-in storage on this model, which can record for around 18 hours of footage at around HD resolution. At maximum resolution, this is a 1296p camera, so above full HD, but you can also lower that to regular HD, to 720p, and also to 480p. Finally, this model does also have an infrared night vision mode, so it can still capture content even if you are in pitch darkness, which is pretty neat. The model here sells for around 129 bucks, so it's not the cheapest wearable camera that we've seen before. Others which are a bit lighter and more consumer grade, but other accessories that we have include a clip, which is made out of aluminum, and we also have a charging cable. Although the cable here is unfortunately using mini USB as a standard, which is definitely out of date. I would have preferred to see USB Type-C, but it is what it is. Now, speaking of the battery, the capacity here comes in at over 3,200 milliamp hours, which is pretty large, and it claims that at 480p resolution, it can continuously record video for over 13 hours before you need to recharge it again. Now, taking a closer look at the design here, it is a little on the bulkier side because of the supported additional battery as well as the shock absorbent shell, but overall it's still decent. It can be clipped onto your shirt, onto a belt, onto a backpack without too many issues. The front here features the array of the infrared lights for night vision. The camera here also has 140 degrees for the wide angle lens, so kind of like a GoPro or an action cam. It does remind me a bit of a dashboard camera or something like a action cam. Anyways, controls that we have on the right hand side include a key that you can tap on to immediately begin recording audio. So this is just a voice memo only. The bottom here you can tap on once to immediately begin recording video. And then on the left-hand side is where we have a dedicated on key. A bottom key here you can tap on once to instantly take an image. The very back here also features a loudspeaker, and finally we have some controls for playing and pausing media that you want to play back, and also some select and menu keys. On the very bottom here is where we have a flap that covers up the aforementioned mini USB port for charging and for syncing that is covered up to prevent water from leaking in if you want the waterproof function to work. So overall, a pretty straightforward design, although one omission here is a expandable micro SD card slot, which I think would have made sense if they also had one near the charging port. That would have been great to further expand on the memory. The camera even has a vibration motor, so that when you turn it on for the first time, it kind of creates a buzz, really alerts you, and also buzzes if it detects motion, which is kind of interesting. Anyways, the display here is decent in terms of the brightness. You can also see it for the most part if you're outdoors without too many issues. Immediately we can see kind of the wide angle effect start to come into play, almost like a fish eye, but it can capture quite a lot in one frame of shot. We have the ability to see the battery life remaining, the current resolution that the camera is set to. Right now it's 720p at 30 frames per second. So if we want to dim the lights here, it's going to get pretty dark. I'm going to tap on this once. You'll hear a flick, and right now we are in the IR mode, where you can see how the camera still picks up subjects really brightly because it's using the IR bulbs, which have been illuminated. The only thing that you have to note here is that in the IR mode, just like other security home cameras that you may have seen in the past, it is going to capture footage in monochrome black and white. And although it's invisible to the human eye, the camera can pick up the IR bulbs as this purplish, pinkish haze, as you can see there. Quick demo here of what the voice recording function looks like. Tap on it once, vibrates as confirmation, and it just begins recording. It works pretty well. It's a nice little bonus feature, and I can also tap on it again to stop the recording and to return back home. Tapping on the play key here will automatically go into your media. Vibrates as confirmation, and it just begins recording. Although the slightly confusing part is if you want to switch between different types of media that's been saved, like between video files, photos, and voice recordings, How you do that is actually tapping on the power on key once, and that kind of acts as a back button when you're in the playback or preview mode, and that will go through the full list, and tap on it again to go through the types. So next, let's take a closer look at some video footage demo. I'm going to try and bump it up to the full resolution, captured outdoors, and see what the effect is like. So as we saw from that demo there, the overall quality is pretty good, quite similar though to dashboard cameras or action cams and its recording capability. It doesn't have an optical image stabilization, although there is a little bit of compensation thanks to the ultra wide angle lens. But all in all, not too bad. You can walk around lightly, as we saw in that footage, and it still seemed to be pretty watchable. It does a good job of picking up most objects, and definitely very much functional. And again, it's really all about that rugged build quality on this particular model. So if you're interested in that, you're someone more into kind of extreme sports, you want something that's kind of a hybrid security cam slash wearable camera with a clip design slash action camera, this might be an interesting model to take a closer look at. Also has that 64 gigs of built-in storage. So you can check out more details if you're interested in the links down below, but for now that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. That's been the CammPro body-worn camera.